So I'm handicapping today's games, and I come across a news item that shows that John Belushi would have been 65 years old today if he had lived. And of course, he didn't live because he succumbed to a drug overdose back March 5th, 1982. And that date, familiar to me because at the time I was in college and I had gotten an internship and a job with a cable company in Philadelphia that eventually turned into Comcast Sports. But at the time, they were basically a movie network, and they were starting a brand new television show that they were going to do like a nightly sports update, but a local version, not like Sports Center, which really was still in its infancy stage on ESPN. But they were going to do a local thing. It was hosted by Jim Gray, who was my boss, not one of the more pleasant experiences in my life, let me tell you that. First day, you're preparing, and back in those days, of course, this is March. You know, spring training is going on. The Phillies are training in Clearwater, Florida. It wasn't like today where you simply dial up your highlights and download them offline, download them off the dish. Back in those days before technology really caught up, I mean, we were running to the airport to pick up 1-inch videotapes that were shot by a guy down in Florida and then shipped up commercially on the airline for us to pick up and then air those clips on a nightly basis. That's how archaic things were back then. But then Belushi, the announcement comes out that he dies. So, you know, you're scrambling around to try to find pictures, to put a thing together, and the sports program turns into this eulogy for John Belushi. So I was thinking of it today. You know, and granted, you know, I never was a huge Animal House fan. I remember I saw it on the opening night when it came out, you know, and it was like, could have had something to do with the girl I was out with that night, too. I'm not too sure. Maybe that's why the movie really didn't impress me that much. That fake rabbit hair jacket she had, which was popular back in that era, didn't really float my boat. But anyway, I thought about Belushi today, and I thought, hey, it's cold in most of the country. It's the start of the weekend. I really don't have a hell of a lot to talk to you about gambling-wise. So I provided a couple of links here under the video. So a couple of classic John Belushi bits, not from SNL, but from Animal House. Now, of course, you realize it's an R-rated movie. There's a lot of profanity. So if you're offended or if you've never watched them, you don't want to click on the links. You've been so warned. But anyway, in terms of gambling here at the site, yesterday was not pretty. The charity play of the week, I turned to Anthony Red, who had been on a heck of a roll. He was perfect 4-0 with 75-dime college basketball releases on the season. Had just had a big 100-dime play a couple of nights ago, a play that you got for the half-price play of the day. And 75-dime college basketball winner number 5 in a row, Houston, got humiliated last night. So the charity play of the week went down. Chris Jordan was the half-price play of the day yesterday. He was going for a top-rated 1,000-star winner. And let me just check the website here. I want to make sure I got my numbers right. He was going for number 5 out of 6. He took Arizona. Wildcats had the big lead, and then at the end, they couldn't hit the front end of 1-and-1s. The final 2 minutes was just a nightmare. And, of course, they allowed Colorado to come back and get the back door, blowing the huge double-digit lead. Chris loses, hasn't lost much. Of course, you just got another 1,000-star winner for him on Monday, I believe it was, with Delaware outright over Drexel on the road. Winning by double digits as a 3-point dog. It's the half-price play of the day on Monday. So he didn't win yesterday. Do you sense there's not a lot of positive things I can tell you about yesterday, other than the fact Brad Wilton won another total? I mean, the guy's just been amazing with those 69 total releases. Last night it was the Lakers Heat over. You got that one for $9. Monday you got Memphis and New Orleans under for $9. Last Friday you got a 69 total winner for $5. Dallas Phoenix over. Today, not only winning day 13 out of 16, but 60-dime winner, number 46 out of 38. It's his late West Coast lock of the year. Wizards, Suns, over, under, and again, save $80 simply by using coupon code BRAD80. $10 bettors have won over $10,800 following his betting advice since July, and you have gotten 48 of Brad's 68 plays rated at 60 dimes over the past 7 months at huge discounted prices, so you've certainly made some money along the way. Also turning to Scott Delaney for a big total tonight because it matches his biggest NBA release of the season. It's his 80-dime winner, number 7 out of 8. His interconference total of the year, it's one of your earlier games, the Celtics Thunder over-under. Has a nice rhyme and rhythm to it, doesn't it? Celtic Thunder, over, under. And I told you I was bored today. Scott Delaney has made $10 bettors a little over $7,100 over the past 11 weeks. And, of course, if you just want to save $30 on a single purchase today, use coupon code FRIDAY30. Friday30. Now, I was looking at today's board, and I thought about taking the Atlanta Hawks as the home dog against San Antonio, especially considering the Spurs are coming off the loss to the Thunder the other night. They had their injury problems. Most recent guy going out is Paulie Leonard, who was hurt in the Thunder loss the other night. With Thiago Splitter and Danny Green already sidelined, I thought, maybe taking the Hawks as the 5.5-point home dog would be the way to go. But then I started, analyzing the Hawks, and their most recent starting center, who took over when Al Horford suffered the season-ending pectoral tear injury. I think you pronounce his name Pero Antic, who had been averaging almost 11 points a game, starting 8 of the past 9 contests. Well, in the Hawks' last game, he suffered what they thought was a sprained ankle, and actually was a stress fracture, so he's had a couple of weeks. Carroll, one of their forwards, he may not play tonight. This is a banged-up team. So I'm looking at the game, and I'm thinking, the Spurs have dominated the series. They've won 13 of the last 14 straight up in the series. True, the first meeting between these two wasn't decided until 4 seconds left on the clock when Tim Duncan hit a jumper, giving them 23 points and 21 rebounds in that one. The Hawks' current head coach was a long-time Greg Popovich assistant coach, so he's certainly familiar with the Spurs personnel. But again, I'm just looking at all the Hawks' injuries. Your center tonight could be Elton Brand. Isn't that a scary thought? The problem with the Spurs also is you never know when Popovich is going to decide, oh, hell, let me rest Tony Parker. Let me rest Tim Duncan. And FYI, Tony Parker's not exactly healthy here this evening either, as he's been bothered by a minor injury here lately. I can't remember if it's an ankle or groin, whatever, but he hasn't been 100%. So I'm looking at the line. I see San Antonio as a 5-point favorite. I think you have to lay the points with the Spurs in this one. Am I in love with the free pick? No. That's why I told you check out the links below and maybe watch some John Belushi funny clips. That's it, guys. Best of luck to you, and I will talk to you again on Saturday morning.